Hello, this video is broadcast daily and following today's highlights.
Officials congratulate Khmer people on Sandota Festival. Government approves a national program of targets to bring about sustainable reduction in poverty. Auto sales rise by 9% in September.
Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Thiện Nhân has said labor market-oriented training was a common trend in developed countries across the region and throughout the world that Vietnam needed to follow.
Nhân told the Regional Technical and Vocational Education and Training Conference in Hanoi on October 10 that Vietnam's labor force must meet the professional standards of the regional and global labor markets to integrate into the world economy. Nhân also cited reforms in management and training, as well as application of scientific and technological knowledge as solutions in creating breakthroughs in quality training. Vietnam therefore needed to strengthen cooperations with ASEAN and developed nations to learn from the experiences and successes in vocational training, especially enterprise-linked training. According to the Ministry of Labor, Work Invalids and Social Affairs, vocationally trained workers accounted for 32% of the total labor force in Vietnam.
The Steering Committee for Southwest Region has congratulated Khmer people in the Mekong Delta city of Cần Thơ on the occasion of Sandota Festival 2012.
Speaking highly of the efforts made by the Khmer people and monks in building the country, the committee's deputy head Bùi Ngọc Sương called on them to continue upholding their patriotism and solidarity, contributing to further national development. Representatives from the association, institute and pagodas said that they will encourage local people and followers to actively make contribution to the nation's prosperity while practicing their faith. Sandota is one of the largest Khmer festivals, paying tribute to ancestors and those who contributed to the homeland. It is held from the 30th day of the 8th lunar month to the 2nd day of the 9th lunar month each year, which falls on October 14 to 16 this year.
The Prime Minister has approved a national program of targets to bring about a sustainable reduction in poverty between now and 2015, with a total capital funding of more than 27.5 trillion Vietnam dong.
The program will focus on 10% of poor districts, 50% of communes in extreme difficulties in coastal and island areas, and 30% of communes in ethnic minority and mountainous areas to lift them out of poverty. It will attempt to raise the average per capita income of poor households nationwide to 1.6 times more than late 2011. This figure rises to 2.5 times in poor districts, communes and villages, especially ethnic minority villages, as well as mountainous areas. Under the program, the rate of poor households is expected to fall by 2% annually nationwide and by 4% in poor districts and communes. Policies on poverty reduction will be introduced to improve poor people's standard of living, mainly affecting health care, education, culture, water supplies, and housing. The program will also upgrade the socio-economic infrastructure in extremely poor areas.
Director General of Vietnam's National Office of Intellectual Property, Tạ Quang Minh, is currently leading a Vietnamese delegation to the 50th sitting of the World International Property Organization in Geneva.
During the proceedings, Vietnam hailed the achievements that the World International Property Organization Development Program had made with projects that benefited Vietnam. They included a database access project for the organization's development research, a project to create trademarks for Bavi tea, Phú Yên fish sauce, and Đà Lạt flowers, and a course on intellectual property rights in the Vietnamese language. Vietnam backs the compulsory public release of information on genetic resources and traditional knowledge on patents. It also agrees with the introduction of mechanisms to allow public access to information and enable the prosecution of offenders. The Vietnamese delegation also said the sustainable use of protection of genetic resources, traditional knowledge and folklore can only be guaranteed by agreeing on regulations and responsibilities that are in line with the Convention on Biodiversity and Nagoya Protocol.
A delegation of the Japan Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, led by Minister Yuichiro Hata, had a working session with leaders of the southern province of Bình Dương on October 10.
Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, Lê Thành Cung, spoke highly of Japanese investors in Bình Dương. Minister Yuichiro Hata said the Japanese government supports the Tokyo urban area and asked local authorities to facilitate the implementation of the project as well as others. Japan has planned to develop a large-scale urban area in Vietnam and decided to choose Bình Dương as the place for the start of the project, he added. The minister also said his ministry will create favorable conditions for Japanese companies to invest in Bình Dương.
A total of 7,670 cars were sold in Vietnam in September, a rise of 9% and a significant increase over the previous month.
Of this number, more than 7,000 were sold by members of the Vietnam Automobile Manufacturers Association. According to data released by the association, the total sales of cars assembled in Vietnam and imported vehicles also grew by 9% during this period. The association added that its members sold only 56,000 cars in the first 9 months of this year, an annual decrease of 32%. The total amount of cars sold in Vietnam this year is forecast to hit 94,000 units.
The 11th annual meeting of the Council for Promoting Tourism in Asia opened for the third time in Hanoi on October 10th. Delegates from 10 regional countries and territories took part in the event.
The delegates discussed measures to lure more tourists in Asia through cooperative projects and boost cooperation among member cities and travel agencies. The event provided Hanoi with an opportunity to increase mutual understanding of tourism and create links with the Council's member cities and countries around the globe.
Hanoi is doing very well, but it's still there are a lot of issues that you need to do, like infrastructures, hotels, some tourist attractions, and then something like tourist safety, and all these things is the main issue that the tourists will take into consideration when they are making a decision to come.
The host Hanoi will hold a theme tour on October 12 to have the participants get an insight into its cultural heritages and outstanding tourist products. The Council for Promoting Tourism in Asia groups cities of Hanoi, Tokyo, New Delhi, Seoul, Taipei, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok. Ulaanbaatar and Tomsk are its observers.
And this is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.